Yo, what's poppin'? What's going on? It's your boy, Mr. Locario, the bad boy of the motherfucking dating game. What's good? So real quick, in this video, I need to tell you guys something really important. I've touched on this in other videos, but I really want to, break this down all the way. Now, you have to understand, see, this is more advanced game. You have to understand how people perceive you. So when we're talking about you interacting with women and making shit happen with women, you have to understand how a woman perceives you, or women in general perceive you, because that's going to give you an idea of how women, when they first meet you, talk to you, see you, whatever, how they first will generally judge you. And based on how they judge you before you say anything or do anything or interact with them, right? That means that they already have a preconceived notion of who they think you are, right? Now, what happens is this, is that once you understand, right, how women view you, right, then what happens is that if the way she views you is in a certain way that's going to make her fear you, or, feel like you're going to play her or break her heart, or, play games with her, right? You need to be able to know how to have certain conversations and interactions to get her to understand that it's not that, okay? So what I mean by that is this. So say, for example, a woman, women generally just assume you're a player, right? They might assume that based on, the way you look, the way you talk, the way you dress, whatever the fuck it is, right? Now, what happens is, because they assume you're a player, some women that you might be interested in might automatically reject themselves from the situation, right? This is what we call auto-rejecting. This is when you reject yourself from the situation because you think that you can't make anything happen in a situation. So for example, a lot of you guys auto-reject a lot when you deal with women because you see a hot girl, you say, oh, she wouldn't want a guy like me, so you reject yourself from the situation. That's auto-rejecting, right? Now, so let's say that woman thinks you're a player. She is going to auto-reject herself in her own mind before anything even happens. So this is why you'll be dealing with a woman, or dealing with women that you can tell they kind of have some sort of attraction for you. It seems like they're feeling you, but all of a sudden, when you try to make something happen, they reject you, or they flake, or whatever it is like that. Now, in some cases, you might run into attention whores or women who aren't interested in you. But I'm talking about there are times when women are interested in you, but because of their preconceived notions of who they think you are, they are going to fuck the situation up because of their fear, right? So I've had this happen a lot of times, and I'm just using the player example because, the tighter your game is, the more women are going to know that women are interested in you. They can tell. They're like, this is the type of guy that I know a lot of women want. I can see it, I can feel it, I can sense it, right? But what they also think is that if you're the type of guy who's like the average guy out here who lies and manipulates and all this other stuff, she may think you're going to be that same guy too. So which is why she has that fear, right? Now, I know some of you guys out there are doing this because y'all game is weak, which is why y'all still manipulate. But let's just say, for sake of argument, in this, example, you guys actually have game and you're not the type to manipulate and do some bullshit, right? So what I'm saying is this, is that you're talking to this girl, let's call her, Jennifer, right? And you can tell Jennifer is interested in you, but there's a little bit of hesitation because she's like, oh, you're a player, I don't know, and all this other stuff. And she perceives you that way, and you understand she perceives you that way because you run into a lot of women who perceive you that way, right? So now what happens is that what you're going to essentially do is the conversation and interaction that you're having, right, is going to be one that is going to let Jennifer know that she is on your level, or you're going to bring her up to your level. So part of her feeling like she can't deal with you or be with you or make something happen with you is because she feels as if you're way too much for her. She might think, oh, you're way too good looking, or you're way too smooth, or, you have other women that you're going to be dealing with who are hotter than her and you're not going to give her any type of attention, right? So what happens is that your conversation and interaction is one that is going to dispel the fear and make her understand that it's okay to fuck with you. You understand? See, what happens is that people do this in sales. So for example, in sales, a salesman might want to sell something that's expensive, but the fear is to the, the customer is, I can't afford that. So what they do is that they know generally people are thinking they can't afford this expensive thing. So what happens is that they have a conversation with them or interaction with them to sort of eliminate the fear and give them what they want. So it's the same concept. You're eliminating the fear and you're giving that woman what she wants in the process. Do you see what I'm saying? So how do you do this? So what happens is that you have to understand how women perceive you and the things that come up generally. Now, this is the key though. It has to be really about how you're about, meaning that it has to be really the type of guy you are. You can't pretend, you can't lie, you can't fake, you can't bullshit about, this process. So meaning that if she thinks that you're a manipulator and a player who's gonna break her heart and lie to her, if you're really that guy, you understand what I'm saying? You're not going to be able to get rid of her fear because that's how you really are. So it's not going to come off authentic in what you're saying and doing. But if you're not that guy, right? You are a player, but you're not going to be on some manipulative shit, right? What happens is that all you do is have conversations and interactions and you talk to her and you address and point out that she has those fears, right? So, for example, the chick is like, oh, you seem like the type of guy that has a lot of women. Yeah, actually, I do. But when I deal with women, I only deal with women that I'm really interested in because I don't really want to waste anyone's time, right? And so if I deal with a woman, it's a woman that I actually really want to interact with on something real and not something fake and superficial. So our time is going to be very, very, important. It's going to be very substantial. Right? So her fear is that you're the type of guy who play games, but the conversation is showing her that you're not that guy, right? But you're addressing that that guys are manipulative and on some bullshit. Do you see what I'm saying? So now what happens is that this woman who probably would have auto-rejected herself is now rethinking and saying, you know what? Maybe I could interact with this guy. Maybe I could make something happen with him because now I'm seeing, based off having the conversation with him, that what I was scared of, he's not really that. The preconceived notion of what I thought he was, he's not that guy. You understand? And so what I'm saying is that you guys have to actually go out and interact with women because you'll start to notice how women perceive you, right? And sometimes also too is based on how they perceive you, it's a lot of times not really who you are. So what happens is when you understand that women perceive you a certain way, you can correct them through the interaction that you're having with these women. So for example, let's say you're the type of guy who is, looks like a nerdy type of dude, right? So women are going to be like, oh, this guy's a dork. That's the perception they may have of you. So then they might think of the negatives about being a dork, being some cornball. But then if you approach her and have a conversation with her, what happens is that within the conversation, she recognizes and realizes you're not what she thought you was, right? And so what happens is that a lot of times if you guys don't understand how women perceive you in certain situations, you're not going to be able to, flip the script in order to get shit going in your favor. Because what happens is that the woman that you're interested in could be also interested in you, but her preconceived notions of you is going to stop her from making shit happen. And you having game, how to have the conversations and interactions to turn that around so that you can get what you want and she ultimately gets what she wants too. You understand? Just like the salesman, he knows that this product could actually help the customer, but the customer's fear is they can't afford it. The salesman lets them know, hey, this is how you can afford it. There's this payment plan that you can make happen. I understand how expensive this is, but it's going to be even more expensive if you continue to buy the cheap stuff. So this is what I'm going to do for you today. I'm going to show you exactly how you can pay for this. And the person wants that product. And you just help them to get it by alleviating the fear because of the preconceived notions that they had. Do you see what I'm saying? So guys, this is a little bit more advanced, but what you got to understand is that when you're out here dealing with women, you will find out, figure out, and know how people perceive, how these women perceive you. It even goes deeper than that. It can go to the point of how just people perceive you in general. This is like when I used to go to a lot of networking events, and I would have to network with other men, and I would notice that Other men would be intimidated in certain situations. They see a tall, like, muscular black guy, they probably just assumed that I wouldn't be a cool motherfucker. And then when I talk to them, they realize that I am. They see, they're like, oh shit, he's not what I thought he was. And then I eliminate that fear of their own preconceived notions, and I'm able to make shit happen. Do you understand? So guys, that's pretty much it. Listen, if you guys have any questions, click the link below and I'll holler at you later. Remember, the truth is inside you. Peace. I'm gone.